This is my audience.
What if boys and girls were in separate classrooms? Would they concentrate better? Would the girls not be so focused on how they look? Would guys pay attention to the math problem instead of how his crush is dressed today? I can go on and on about how they might act different. When I was a freshman at my high school, they wanted to try something new, and they put all of us freshmen in gender-separated classes. At first, nobody really noticed the difference because we didn't really know each other, but as we got to know each other, a lot of things changed. In the female classes I was put in, there was heated arguments and potential fights at least twice a week, if not more. Everybody knows that high school girls don't always get along with each other. They envy each other, they talk about each other, and they gossip. And things that are said about them will get around, and when it does, it is World War III. Sticking 25 teenage girls in the same room was not the smartest idea, in my opinion. Although I was not in the male classes, I heard it was pretty chaotic some days, and they talked over the teachers all the time, and they got even more distracted now that their best friends were right beside them throughout the whole day. These are just my experiences. It depends on what kind of school you go to. For example, if you were to do this at a Catholic school, you might get different results because the school I went to was not in the least bit religious. There was one study actually done on a Catholic school. According to educationnext.org, there are certain things that boys and girls won't do while the other gender is present in the classroom. So if the girls are out of the classroom, it's much easier for the boys to recite poetry, for example. And according to singlesexschools.org, done in South Korea, they concluded that boys graduated from same-sex schools were more likely to attend a four-year college than boys who graduated from a co-ed school. And the same thing with the girls. And co-ed is whenever boys and girls are in the same classroom together, for those of you that don't know. Another argument on this was expressed on a website known as greatschools.org. It said that students in single-sex classrooms will one day live and work side by side with members of the opposite sex. It is bound to happen. You can't prevent them from ever seeing each other or being with each other throughout their whole lifespan. And educating students in single-sex schools limits the opportunity to work cooperatively and coexist successfully with members of the opposite sex. Also, according to NBCnews.com, in Woodward Elementary School's co-ed classrooms, 57% of girls and 37% of boys pass state writing test in co-ed classrooms. In single-sex classroom, 75% of the girls and 86% of the boys passed. And some of this depends on the age. If you have a 2-year-old girl in a classroom, they're not going to be worried about who slept with who the night before. They're going to be worried about who stole my candy at lunch. And the same thing with the boys. They don't mature as they get older, but they're more likely to act out on bigger things than you stole my ball at recess. So it depends on the environment they're in too. If you go to a Christian school, you're more likely to find people that behave better than Lake City High School, for example, where they didn't really care what you did. As long as you showed up and looked presentable, that's all that really mattered to them. And that's why the same-sex classrooms didn't last long, because nobody really cared. It wasn't really enforced. I think if it was enforced and really took seriously, it might have had a different result than it did.